we had another discussion in a YouTube video comment section, and it got pretty contentious and controversial, to say the least. I was even being called a liar, so I decided to record a video about this topic, also because some of the discussion was kind of shadow banned by YouTube, so not all the comments are visible because they're not featured visibly in the YouTube's comment section. So it's hard for people to find them. So I decided to make a video about it. There's a screenshot of the discussion below in the description box. And I will also probably post some of my replies and comments in the description box. But it's a lot, so I don't know if it all fits into the description box. So the topic was pantheism, specifically on the video that was posted on the Closer to Truth channel, titled "Is Everything Part of the Mind of God?" And my first controversial comment was on this topic: psychologically, this is a very interesting and perplexing question to me. Why would someone believe that they are part of God or that God is a part of them? The only satisfactory psychological answers I have so far come up with is that this is either due to narcissism, a God complex, or infantilism, God as divine babysitter. And then, there are so far 16 comments under this comment by me, and so I will read a selection of them, the most important and most controversial. So one of the commenters replied back to me and said, people who feel part of God are humbled by the realization and their ego begins to dissolve. And my reply back to him was, I think we are connected to God due to us being parts of God's creation, but that does not make us a part of God or God part of us. There's a clear separation between creator, cause, and creation, effect, in my humble opinion. And then somebody else said, God is part of everything. And I replied back and said, I commented on this already in another comment thread below, but you can only see it if you select newest comments, since it's not a featured comment. Here an excerpt. The dualism, separation, or differentiation creation mechanism is time, with God always and eternally being the first and oldest cause and thing in creation. The different substances of creation come from God, but due to the separation via time, they are effects and not causes, and therefore are not part of the first cause or God, and God is not part of them anymore, but they are still connected to and influenced and guided by God. This phenomenon in dynamic is similar to the keystone species concept in biology, God being the ultimate keystone and apex cause of creation. For details, I recommend the following paper, Completely Top-Down Hierarchical Structure in Quantum Mechanics. And then another commenter said the following, and this is then where it gets kind of contentious. You will see how. And look up non-duality. And I replied, I have extensively contemplated non-duality or oneness, and I came to the conclusion that it is incompatible with free will. And then another commenter that I had already talked to and exchanged replies with earlier came into this comment thread, and I think he's kind of pissed at me or disagrees with me. But anyways, he implied that I'm a liar. That is false. Would be nice if you would quit posting nonsense and blatantly false ideas about pantheism. Or is being a liar part of your religion? And I replied back to him, and this comment of mine is shadow banned. So if someone doesn't really understand the YouTube's comment sections, they will have a hard time finding this comment. Look up the article "We Are Not One" by the Buddhist monk Thanissaro Bhikkhu. I don't know if I pronounced that right. In which he writes that the Buddha never taught oneness, and he specifically states in it, to begin with, interconnectedness through karma allows for freedom of choice, whereas oneness does not. And there's also a video here on YouTube of one of his lectures teachings titled "The Buddha Did Not Teach Oneness," if you're interested to look further into this. And I also put links to his lectures and his articles in the description box. And then we had some more discussions with that one commenter who called me a liar yesterday, and I read some excerpts from that. That is not at all how it works. Read some Spinoza or study some Hinduism or any pantheistic religion. Pantheism is based on pure logic. It has nothing to do with individuals thinking they're God. No one thing is God, including humans in pantheism, and God is not all-powerful, omnipotent in pantheism. Do you think an all-powerful God would let kids suffer and die of cancer or starve to death? And I replied back and said, I've come to the conclusion that God is not pure logic, but unconditional love. And that's probably the reason why I can't relate to pantheism. I believe in the reality of reincarnation and karma. Therefore, I find Hinduism more logical than Christianity, for example. And this, coupled with free will, explains suffering even for children. And then he replied back and said, there are different lines of thought within pantheism. Some of Hinduism being one of them. But a pantheistic God essentially is a self-sacrificing God, to put it in very simple terms. And I replied back and said, a self-sacrificing God doesn't resonate with me either, because I believe God operates on the win-win utilitarian principle. And he replied back to me then and said, oh, okay, so you obviously believe that democratic socialism is best. And I replied back and said, yes, democracy is definitely derived from the win-win utilitarian principle, so I support it. And this was about it. There's more to the discussion, but it gets kind of esoteric and complicated and complex. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of this contentious and controversial discussion we had. And hopefully we can continue this discussion in the comment section of this video of mine here, and that those comments don't get shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. Okay, thanks so much. Until next time.